Dr. Carter Ching, I'd like to start the events by asking you, what makes you the most excited about undergraduate excellence at UC Davis?
So I could talk for a long time about undergraduate excellence on this campus, but related to the topic of this event in particular, I'll say that one of the things that not only excites but routinely impresses me is that yes, our undergraduates want to be change makers. They want to change the world. But a lot of them don't want to wait until they graduate to do it. They don't consider their undergraduate years as just some kind of training ground or front-loading exercise where then after 4 or 5 years they, get a piece of paper and a fancy hat with a tassel and that says, okay, now you can go change the world, right? No, they want to start on day one on campus as soon as they walk in the door. So we have to think about, okay, what kinds of opportunities are we giving them to do that? So as a research university, one way we change the world is through our research, our discoveries, the way we build knowledge and innovation. And at UC Davis, undergraduates can get involved in that. We have first year seminars program called CURES, which stands for Course-Based Undergraduate Research Experience, that offers brand new freshmen and transfer students the opportunity to work in a small class with a faculty member on their research area. Also, our undergraduate research center places students in immersive research relationships with faculty mentors in laboratories, field sites, research groups, and summer research experiences. And then our honors program, for those students for their fourth year capstone experience, they conduct independent research on a project of their own choosing under the direction of a faculty member. So we are focusing on undergraduate participation in research in many ways, but students are really just clamoring for more of this. Our programs are dramatically oversubscribed, and we could always do more if we had the capacity to do it. Another way we change the world, though, is through our direct impact, through immediate and concrete engagements with communities, regions, and private and civic institutions. And students are all over this too. So I'm glad that Corner at Aggie Square was mentioned earlier, because that is well on its way to being a crown jewel in the university's regional impact. Basically, with this program, students enroll in a special quarter wherein all their courses are coordinated and themed to be about socially relevant topics like transformative justice in education, immigration, biomedical technology, multilingualism, etc. And then they participate in topically related internships with either the partner tenant organizations at Aggie Square, on the medical center campus, or with the surrounding community of Sacramento, like Oak Park. So that's in the early stages, but we're very excited about it. And then also in terms of impact and engagement, we have part of our honors program wherein in their third year, students volunteer or intern with an eye towards some kind of service experience related to their overall program of study. So yeah, our students want to change the world. The thing about world changing though is that it's time consuming. And so for some of our students anyway, time is money. The hours they might spend in an internship or a research lab experience are hours they aren't spending working and getting paid a lot of the time, unless they have some kind of fellowship that covers them, right? But right now, those are kind of few and far between. So we have a situation in which there can be financial barriers to these opportunities and experiences for students. But if we had more funds available for sponsoring students in these types of activities, that would be world changing, for them in particular, but also for the rest of us as we watch and ultimately benefit from what these amazing students can do and what they will become. Thank you.
How can we continue providing an impactful hand-on experience for our students during the pandemic?
So there are several answers to this question from my perspective. One is that there are ways in which having an impactful experience is possible in some ways in this remote instruction situation that wasn't as possible before. It's like the answer that you totally didn't expect, right? Counterintuitive. And one of those things is that students are able to do remote research internships with faculty who are really involved in data science, right? So it's not that you necessarily need to be in a laboratory in order to have that research experience. And you can, in fact, do it remotely because it's all done via computers anyway, right? So there's that. We've actually been able to place a lot of students still with faculty who are doing sort of very data heavy kinds of work. Also, our UCDC Washington, DC program had to go remote this year, and we were kind of worried about it. And as it turns out, we have 45 students signed up for winter to do virtual internships with various governmental and civic organizations in Washington, DC. And to me, that speaks to the question of like, well, maybe these are students who wouldn't necessarily have been available to fly to DC to, do all of that sort of pick up and leave your family and your community and your everything else and go live in DC for 3 months. So they're not doing that place-based internship, but they're getting that meaningful professional experience regardless. And then finally, as far as the hands-on component of that question goes, we actually did something fairly remarkable this quarter in that we shipped a whole ton of hands-on laboratory materials to students so that they could do guided labs at home in some of their courses. We didn't send dangerous materials through the mail that are, like not allowed or whatever, but there was a lot of building stuff, art supplies, kinds of science lab materials. So really, like, we're developing innovations and ways of doing hands-on even at a distance.
How can UC Davis help undergraduate students find research opportunities in a pandemic?
So our undergraduate research center actually excels at that. They're doing a lot of that right now. We offer regular workshops for students on how to get involved in research, how to connect with faculty members, how to determine, even what type of research you might be interested in. They sort of keep a running list of faculty members who are either actively looking or who are available to take students in their labs, whether it's, virtual or there are also some labs that are still they're scaled down in terms of their operations on campus, but they are still open and they're working. And as we scale up our research lab capacity, the undergrads that are involved in research and undergrads that will become involved in research are also considered critical research personnel. So they will be available to get into those labs and start doing research work as well. So yeah, I would say, if you have a student who is interested in research experiences at UC Davis, or if you just want to find out more about it, look up our Undergraduate Research Center under the undergraduate education website, because that's basically what they do. That's what that center is there for. So I actually think that to close on sort of an optimistic note, we are going to come out of this better than we went in. As somebody who studies educational technology and learning in online environments in particular, I get this question a lot where people sort of go, oh, is this pandemic going to just sort of ruin universities and we're just going to do all online schooling? We're all going to be University of Phoenix or whatever. And I think absolutely adamantly no. One of the things that we have, I think, realized, all of us in this, is how much our place-based campus education matters, how much we miss being in the same space and interacting meaningfully with one another as part of our learning experience. And so none of that is going to go away. I hope that we are smarter as we come out of this about how we use our campus spaces and our instructional time, and think about actually having it matter that we are together and that we're learning together, and that's meaningful. But I think we can do that, and I think it'll be great.